you can do it either at final approach fix or just prior to final approach fix, and that is confirm that approach is there.
Turn left heading 230.
And the level of approach, whether it's LPV, LNAV, VNAV, or LNAV. And that is a
5 Echo Alpha. Your number 1 for the sequence, keep your speed up.
Yeah, that's 145 Echo Alpha. And that's an FAA requirement, that if you're flying an RNAV approach, sometime prior to the final approach fix, the pilot has to confirm that his FMS equipment is in approach, and that the level of approach is what he's considered for the minimums.
Okay. Roger. November 2, Yankee uniform over High Dan, cleared RNAV Yankee, runway 17 right approach.
Over High Dan, cleared RNAV Yankee 17 right approach to Yankee uniform. So I'll put this on as a reminder that she cleared me.
Well, what I always tell everybody in the modern equipment...
November 2 Yankee uniform, maintain present speed or less till 5 mile final.
Present speed or less until 5 mile final to Yankee uniform.
What I always tell everybody is, in this modern airplane now, you've heard of Pavlov's dog, right?
Yeah.
You should be Pavlov's dog when you ever hear the words from a controller, cleared the approach. I don't care what approach you're flying, push the approach button.
Approach, reduce speed at 2.
So she said clear the approach, push the approach button.
Even for an ILS, no problem?
I don't care what approach, push the approach button.
Nice.
When you hear the words, cleared the approach, push the approach button.
Eclipse 5 Echo Alpha, contact tower 119.9.
And once you push the approach button, anytime I push a button up here, confirm it right there.
So that would be your confirmation you pushed it, and this, you can do it or not do it.
That's up to you.
Right heading 200, that's your sequence.
This might be better because it forces you to look up there to verify.
Yep. Well, and actually, you have to push this in order for the machine to couple to it, so that's kind of important.
Right. Missed approach altitude, we'll deal with, let's see, we should be lower than we are right now.
Oh, I'm sorry, you've already got it right there. It says set minimums at final turn, verify LPV or LNAV, VNAV, or LNAV on PFD.
Yeah, but see, we're too high right now. We should be, oh, no, we're good. So 87, we could go on down.
How about we just stay right here?
Okay.
Set your missed approach altitude at 9,000.
I didn't like what I did.
You're right. Glide path is alive.
Okay, so gears should be coming down. Flaps take off.
And set 60%.
2 Yankee uniform, contact tower 119.9.
119.9 to Yankee uniform. Springs Tower, Eclipse 2 Yankee uniform, RNAV 17 right.
Eclipse 2 Yankee uniform, Springs Tower, wind 140 at 5. Runway 17 right, cleared for the option.
Clear for the option to Yankee uniform. Okay, 62%. Cross speed because of our rudder.
Single engine stuff.
Oh, okay, right. They were on 60%.
And like I said, your gear down, flaps take off. It kind of hangs out about 130 to 135. So somewhere by 1,000 feet AGL, we're going to
go full flaps.
Go full flaps.
And she wanted us to keep our speed down anyway, so we could do it now.
Sure.
Clear for the option, 17 laps, 7 November.
The other thing I try to tell guys is, don't let your eyes get used to yellow blinking things.
Like the altitude alert?
Yeah. So we have 9,000 set, which is what we want, but let's get rid of this yellow blinking by just clicking the altitude select, one up and one back. And I like that.
Oh.
Because if you don't let your eyes get used to that, then it'll be noticeable when it needs your attention.
Okay. And I still haven't set my outside temp. Let's do that real quick.
In your VREF.
That's what I mean, to get that.
Yep. No temperature needed.
Okay, ref is 92. We're at pretty close to 60. Bump it up just a notch. See, before landing checks, mentally it's just 3 greens, full flaps, yaw damper to go, and the seats knobs are, yours goes back.
Yeah,
Inertia reels.
I always leave that back. Because I'm always moving like this. And you got to add in this airplane, ABS armed.
Good. Well, we're getting a little slow here.
Yeah, like I said, it's a technique. It's not an exact science. But the nice thing is I bet you can move the throttles a 1/4 inch and take care of that. But don't worry. In about a mile here, I don't know what it is about this approach, but right here, all day yesterday, we're getting low, even though we're on glide path. Look outside and we're low. And then, as we get close to the runway, it gets a little high, and it'll start to do this.
The pappies say we're high right now.
You got to be careful getting slow, because if we get into a bump, that red tape will pop up and give us a stall warning, and then it clicks everything off.
Okay.
We're lucky we're not in bumps. Don't get slow.
Yeah, West 840 Echo, Springs Tower, 1 to that, clear 2 lanes.
Here we go. This is where it transitions to getting high, and then it's going to go back.
Go back to 60.
Yeah, I don't know what it is with this approach, but
Springs Tower, 1 to that, clear 2 lanes.
it did this all day yesterday.
Eclipse to Yankee Uniform, clear to land.
So I had the wrong guy there, Eclipse to Uniform, front as well, 1 to that, clear for the option.
To Yankee Uniform, cleared for the option. Now we're down to 53. Maybe that's why I'm always on 53.
No, it's this approach. I don't know what it is with this approach, but it gets low out there and it gets high up here inside.
Okay, and then when we get to their missed approach point, we're going to do toga.
And actually, it's a decision altitude, so when you get to your decision altitude, pretend you don't see anything.
Okay, so we're going to hit the toga button.
Which is this guy.
This guy underneath. And throttles forward.
Yep.
Flaps take off, positive rate gear up.
Yep. 120 knots, flaps up. Or 115, whatever you want.
This is just autopilot.
500.
Auto throttle disconnect.
Okay. Yep. Right. Getting a little slow.
Roger that, 17 left, clear lane.
Approaching minimums.
Tower, Skywest 840 Echo.
Okay, 6377 is our altitude.
Minimums.
Springs Tower, 1 to that, clear 2 lanes.
Clear line 17 right, Skywest 840 Echo.
Flaps to take off. You're coming up. GA pitch, GA heading.
The beautiful thing. No alt armed, as you can.
Traffic.
No foul. That's plus 5.
Traffic will be a Regional Jet 7 departing prior to arrival caution.
Where is he?
Traffic inside. Table, can we get full stop 1, please?
I really want to do pitch wheel down because of our airspeed. I'd like to get these flaps up.
I'll throw them up.
Okay.
No, throw the, there you go. Throw the flaps up. Now, push.
2500 Springs Tower.
Nav altitude change. Nav. There you go. That's it. Now, if you want to get the nose down, just put altitude change, because it'll go for 160 knots. If you're, we're at high altitude, hot day, you might consider going altitude change to make it accelerate faster and then going flaps up. Because right now it's going to accelerate to 160 knots.
It's already alt change.
Yeah, but remember you were waiting for the airspeed to accelerate? We were in
Right.
GA pitch.
Okay,
If you go alt change, it'll go accelerate.
like it is now.
Correct.
And what do we want to ask on this next approach? Same thing, or?
Vectors to final. Let's see if they give it to us.
That's taking us out to Cusack.
And now we can put the auto throttles on if you want. Now guess what? You don't even need to look to the approach plate to find out what the final approach fix is.
Yeah, 25.
Is that what you were looking on to see what the final approach fix was?
Yeah, but it says right there, doesn't it?
Bingo.
Old habits. Vector vectors. Go to the map. I don't want to arm. Where am I? Way down here somewhere. Okay. There we go.
Okay, with 2500, turn left heading 020.
Left turn 020, Scott 2500.
November 0, Quebec Sierra, fly heading 350, descend and maintain 9,000.
All right, so for vectors to final for an RNAV,
Okay, with 2500, climb
there's two pieces of this.
Maintain 12,000, Scott 2500.
Just like you go direct.
Uniform, turn left heading 350, maintain VFR at or above 9,500.
350 VFR at or above 9,500 to Yankee Uniform.
Away we go. So just like when you go direct to a waypoint, you go direct to a waypoint, the first thing you do is program the FMS to do it, right?
Yes.
And it centers that CDI. And then, are we going direct when you just program the FMS?
Are you talking about just now?
No.
This intercept function?
No.
No.
When you go direct and you program direct to a waypoint, is the airplane going direct right when you do that?
2500, turn left direct Denver International Airport.
The answer is no. You've got to make the flight director system command the autopilot to go direct. So it's the same thing with vectors to final. When you program this intercept function, it puts the FMS into what it calls the vectors mode active.
Okay.
And you can tell you're in vectors mode active by several different ways. One of the ways is on the progress page. It says vectors mode active.
Hang on a second here. We're ripping along here. We're supposed to be at 160.
You can be at whatever you want, though.
Well, isn't it 200 speed limit within 4 miles of an airport?
2 Yankee Uniform, climb out instructions remain the same.
Same climb out instructions to Yankee Uniform.
Within 4 miles and below 2,500.
Oh, the altitude is the critical thing there.
Well, both the distance and the altitude. Basically within the class D.
March Flight Works S72 is with you 7,600 for 10,000.
So
Citation 0 Quebec.
when you put the software, the FMS, into vectors mode, there's several ways to tell that vectors mode is active. One, progress page says it in the message, vectors mode is active. Another is you'll see the dashed line on the moving map.
Right.
Another is you'll see this vectors arm intercept line select key on the MFD. Another is you'll see it in suspend. But the one I always key off of is in the CDI, the word vectors.
Awesome.
Because what does the nav button look at? The CDI. So I want to make sure that says vectors, and then in order to go make the flight director system, which is the second piece of this puzzle, in order for the flight director system autopilot to go into vectors mode, what do we have to do?
We have to hit nav.
That's it.
And then, but I'm just sure you're going to say the FMA would be the most important thing to look at.
Well, after you push nav. Anytime you push a button up here, you got to look there. That goes without saying, but apparently not. Anytime you push a button